juxtaposed forms. I'm like, I'm gonna make these like little pieces of paper, and they're just gonna, and then it's just this other thing's gonna trail out from there. Like that's
But that's great. It's like a, as you say, a collaboration or a companion or somebody who's with you working kind of.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. So that, yeah, so like that's two sort of
Two
examples
examples
of
in the
that.
same drawing. Yeah.
Yeah, it started this minuscule, this kind of stuff started in, I think, I think it's in that rock drawing and the sheep drawing. I think it's in there. I think that's where it started. But that drawing, here's that sketch is from an underwater, it was a diver in these rocks. It's kind of like a cliff underwater. So I started that drawing with this
And where did
image.
that image come from? The diver underwater.
I just it was just in a Google search. I'll just do like underwater. I don't know. I don't know if it's underwater scenes, and it was like this rocky. It's such a great image. I can send it to you. This rocky, like ravine, underwater crevasse. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
underwater that this diver swimming through. So it's like the precipice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the precipice, the house. So it's that vulnerable precipice that we're in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really
Well, when you talk about it, it's so kooky.
And Mernette, how do you, just as a comparison, how do you start your day? I mean, I know you said you start with the newspaper and coffee. I think you said that when we met last. But then
Really?
what's the next thing you do? Like when you go into your studio, do you start by reading or no?
Never.
Never.
No, I read in the afternoon.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
No, in the morning, I guess I read the paper and I check my email and I have breakfast and then I work until from about, let's say 9:30 and 10:30. I start working until noon or 12:30 or 1. And in the middle I have a scone and coffee, but I don't really stop.
Oh, that's cool.
I've gotten so I make my scones with a mix, so I always have them in the freezer. And so that's my first cup of coffee is in the middle of the morning.
Wow,
really? Wow.
And then 12 or 1, I have lunch, usually microwave dinner, and lunch around in bed, playing solitaire or reading or taking a nap sometimes.
Yeah.
But I know that I can't work for too many hours at once or it reaches the point of diminishing returns.
Yes,
I get compulsive about something.
Right.
So about 3 hours straight is about the max.
Yeah.
And also I get sort of drowsy in the afternoon. And after all, I'm 80 years old. I'm sort of recognizing I don't quite have the stamina that I used to have. So, or at least that's what I tell myself, but so that I don't feel totally lazy. So at about 4, I get the second wind, and then I go back in my studio from 4 to 6:30, and make some loud music and work again. Usually I don't do anything at night. During the pandemic, I've gotten into this watching mysteries at night. Never used to do that. Never used to watch TV all the time. I do every night. And that's about my usual.
Yeah. I was just curious about like the what gets you going on the paintings, like with Charlotte, it's reading and a little bit of writing and sketching, sometimes sketching.
Yeah. I used to for 40 years, 50 years, I kept journals. I don't anymore.
Okay.
I'm kind of bored with what I think. You know, I notice that I'm thinking the same things over and over again. If I do think of something that seems important, I write it down somewhere. I do have a journal book where I can write things down, but it's not a routine.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll go for a couple months without writing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it used to be very compulsive. I mean, I wrote on my journal every day from the time I was about 18 to the time I was in my about 70, I guess. And reading, once in a while, I'll write things down and put them on my painting wall. And pretty rare. But if I want to really remember, I feel like I should go and copy a couple of those lines from the Saunders book because they were very heartening. I mean, I look for things that, and I need a lot of positive reinforcement. I look for things that encourage me. More than things that challenge than things that challenge.
I think
I don't look for a lot of things that challenge me anymore. I don't want to get, because I all my life has a tendency to get stuck because I second guess myself about things.
Right.
And I feel like it's better to just, and I think it's on this book where somebody says to this aspiring young writer, should I do this or that or that other? He says, and Hemingway or whoever he was talking to said, don't think, don't worry, just work. Don't worry, just work. And then at the end of the book somewhere, she said, pointed out, you got that quote backwards. What Hemingway or whoever said was, don't work, worry. But anyway, for myself, I find that it's, I'm going to accept that I'm at a point in my life where because I've made, as Charlotte knows, many dramatic changes in my work over the last 70 years. And in retrospect, they all connect and make sense. But the time I was doing them, they didn't. It was more like a revolution, of total everything. Everything changed, and they usually were preceded by a year or two of not working or not.
Right. So they were like painful revolutions.
They were really painful.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, fruitful, but not necessarily necessary. I might have been able to have moved along without having to go through those. But in any case, I try to remind myself now that I'm not looking for this breakthrough. Just like after this last show I had, I didn't do any work at all for at least 6 weeks. And then when I did,
Oh, she's frozen.
Next month or two, nothing, even there's a breakthrough. It's not going to work. I'm going to just have to keep working and accept it where I am and where I've been, and that's okay. And it's going to come out of that. And so I forced myself to do a study or two based on what I had, and then to stretch up a couple canvases based on the lesser of the evils, ones that I wasn't that enthusiastic about, but I thought, I've got to be in the work. I can't be thinking about the work,
Yes.
To be in the work.
And I can't be in the work in a general way like these little tiny fragments that I was doing. I have to be in a commitment to something and then work within that. And most of the paintings that I've done, I wasn't that enthusiastic about the initial study anyway. And usually the best things about them happen in the process, even if the gestalt is very much like or identical to the study. After all, I spend another 2 months after I do the study on the painting. So it's things that I discovered doing the more nuanced things I discovered during that become the more important. um,